Hello, everybody, and welcome. We're just about ready to start. I'd like to do a quick sound check, make sure that everybody can hear me all right. So if you can please type yes in the question box, that'd be great. All right, that's fantastic. So let us start. So hi everybody and welcome to Nadex live webinar. We are going to look at market movers for the 13th of June 2017. So my name is Tamar Meir and I'm part of the trading team at Trade with Precision. Now before we head on into the presentation, we need to go through some risk warning and disclaimers. So please have a read through them, make sure that you agree with them before continuing on to the presentation. They're going to be two, one for Nadex and one for Trade with Precision, and I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to read each of those. Okay, and the next one. All right, so let's see, what are we going to see on the agenda for today? So we are going to look at building your own trading strategy using technical analysis. So we're going to look at a trading strategy both for long and short position. We're going to look at different market scenarios, different possible outcomes and setup that we might consider. So looking at different ways analyzing the market and trying to predict in advance where the market have a higher likelihood of going towards and how we can utilize the Nadex binaries and spread through our decision making or the ideas for a trading opportunity that we might have. And we're going to look at market moving news event for the week ahead. All right, so let's start with the live trading analysis. So I'm just going to bring up the chart and we can start to take a look. All right, so the chart should come up on your screen right now. It takes a little bit of time sometimes to filter in. There we are. All right, so the first market that I want to take a look at is Euro GBP. And let's take a look here on the monthly. So what I'd like to do is a top-down approach. I want to look at the higher time frame. I want to see if we have a trend. If so, what direction do I have on that trend? And also the areas of support and resistance that can be more visible on higher time frames, because we know that there's a lot of orders that are being placed around those levels of support and resistance, and we do get nice reactions to those levels as well. So looking here at the monthly, we can see that the monthly is in an uptrend. We had a pullback into this area, into the buy zone, which is the area between the 10 and the 20 moving averages. We spent a bit of time around here. This is the level of around 0.83. We found support and we started to move higher again. So we're looking here at an uptrend on the monthly. However, we can see that there are a couple of levels in that area. And the one that interests me at the moment is sitting around here. This is around the 0.88. Now, if I need to move this little thing to the other side, it's just sitting on my controls over the chart. So I'm going to move it to the other side. There we go. Now, let's take a look here on the weekly. Now on the weekly, again, we can spot we don't have a straight up uptrend, but we can see that we're stuck here in quite a nice range. So this is the bottom of the range around 0.83, and this is the top of the range around that 0.88. So we broke above it, and currently we are pulling back into it. We can't call the weekly an uptrend, but we did have some very strong bullish momentum. So going down into the daily, and there's a lot of lines on this chart, so we might just want to delete them around here. So what we can see here, we do have an uptrend. We broke very strongly up above that 88 level, and currently we are pulling back. We're a little bit still away from the buy zone on the daily, but we're looking quite bullish on this time frame, and you can see those previous touches at that level in the past. So going down the time frame, let's take a look here on the 8 hours. Now on the 8 hours, we can see we had that pretty strong push higher, and this is due to the election result. It was quite a big surprise, and now we're pulling back into the buy zone. So what I'm looking for areas where at the big picture we've got an uptrend. Now where I'm looking for, we have already a pullback, we have some overextension. I'm looking for an area where the pullback might stop, might come into a hold, and we might see a return of the buying momentum and a continuation of the overall longer term trend. So at the moment, we still have that pullback. If we'll take a look here at the 4 hours, we can see that we're coming again into this level, we're coming into that buy zone. So I'm looking at an area in and around the 0.88 to see if the market starts to change direction, where this pullback is over. What I like to do is go down to lower time frame. Going down to the lower time frame, you can see that what we've got here is quite an established downtrend, but we're coming down very strong into this area. We also have strong convergence into the downside. Now we held here just for a couple of bars at this area before we break down again. Now we've got an overextension, meaning that the price action have a distance from the moving averages, and as we broke down to a new lower low on the 15 minutes, we actually started to diverge here. So that could start to build up a more buying momentum because we've got that divergence. When we've got divergence, basically when the price in this case making lower low and the indicators haven't done so, it could implicate that a bigger pullback is on the card. A bigger pullback could see somewhere around the 50 moving averages. But what it could also mean is that we had some strong sell-off. We're coming into a level on the higher time frame, and we've got some overextension on this time frame. So there's a couple of things that I can do with this. I can look at options that will expire quite soon, and I can look to see if I can get a pullback into this case, maybe back into this round number of 88. So not looking for something that is longer term, but just rather looking at this divergence to play out as the fact that we're touching a level, and also at the fact that we are very much overextended. So just looking for a snapback into the averages. Or I can look at a longer term scenario. I can look at a weekly binary, which at that point I'll be looking for a higher time frame trading opportunity. I would like to see that we're actually finding support at this level and go for a longer term move. So let's take a look at our options. So let me just bring up the platform and let's have a look. So looking here at Euro GBP, let's open. So what I've got here, I can see if I can move this one. Here it's good. There we are. So what I'm looking here is a couple of things that I can do with this market. So I want to see if I can grab something that can move quite quickly. So I'm talking about a 15 minutes move, right? So if I'm looking at a 15 minutes move, I'm looking for something that would actually expire rather quickly. So let's see, what options do I have? So in this case, I've got 18 hours, I've got 13 hours. We just had options expired not long ago. So all my options at the moment are a little bit further away. Now I'm looking at this one. Now I've got 2 hours and 50 minutes. So the time that I'm looking at, it needs to be enough for a snapback, But I can also look to close my position in the middle. So I don't have to wait for the market to expire for me to get my profit. If I look at the options, so let's take an example here. So coming back into the charts, what we've got here, I want to look at the levels. So we're sitting here around the 87, let's say 88 or 90, and I'm looking for a snapback into this area. So I'm looking for a pullback at the moment. So I'm looking to say that the price could sit above this area or even above 88 at that area. So let's take a look. What sort of options do we have in that case? So if I want to look at the 87.80, which is approximately where price sits right now. So let's open this one. Let's open the ticket, and let's just wait for the information to come through. All right, so we're sitting in and around this the price action at the moment. We can see here, we always, if we're not sure and we keep on flipping between the platform, we can always have a look here. It tells us where the market is sitting at the moment. So currently, if I'm going to say that the market is going to be above this price, you can already see that the market is in the money. It's actually sitting above that price. So if for example, if you're not sure, what I like to do, basically you can say to yourself, okay, I'm looking to buy into this market, and let's just say I'm looking at this price. You can always look at the information here, and that will tell you the ratio. So for example, in this case, it will cost me about 73.25 or 75, or let's say 74 for just easy round numbers, to buy into this market, and my profit will be around the $26. So obviously in this case, I'm looking to make a third of my risk. So it is in this case a bit more, because we are already in the money, it's a bit more safer option. But it means that my reward to risk is lower. But I'm looking for a snapback. I identify that there's a overextension, there's a level, and I'm expecting the market to move a bit higher. So what if I'll take the higher, let's go to the next one. I'm looking at the higher price action. So 88 in this respect, that might be a bit more interesting. This is the next one up. In this case, and let's do the same exercise so we can have the details over here. It's always easier. Oops, I need to choose buy in order to get the current price. So if I'm looking at the moment, let's say around 20 or 21, you can see that actually if this one expires in my favor, I'm going to be looking at about 4-to-1 reward to risk. So you can already see there's a big difference. Now, the reason why it's such a good ratio is because the market is in a downtrend at the moment. What I'm looking for is a pullback, which is against the direction of the overall trend. But from all the information that I look, I actually like that. But the thing is, I would have preferred it to expire a lot sooner. But the things that I can do is, instead of waiting for it to expire in my favor, because what can market do, unless if I jump back into the chart, the market can actually pull back into this level within a couple of candles. So let's say 3-4 candles, pulling back into that level, and then starts to roll over again. So by the time the market, the options expires, it's already below that 88. And even though could be that I was right about the pullback, but the time frame that I was looking at, it didn't work my way. So what I can actually do, I can actually look to exit before the time has expired. It means that I won't get my full 4-to-1, but I can already get a nice target out of that one. So that is one thing that I can do. The other thing is, and this is from a more short time frame. So the other thing that I can do is actually look at the mid time frame and say, well, actually, at the moment, I don't want to take the risk because this market could still have a bit of a sell-off. I don't have any signs yet that we're starting a pullback. So if we'll go back into the charts, what I want to see is a bullish candle. Just move this. a bullish candle rejecting a level and then a break above it. I like the 15 minutes. You can see 1, 2, 3 candles already finding support at this area, but I don't yet have any confirmation that we are reversing. So I want to see, we've got here a bit of a bearish to indecision candle. A break above it would be a bit more bullish indication that we might see that pullback happens. But let's say I don't want to take it as a shorter time frame. What I want to do, I want to take it as a higher time frame. So I can look into taking it as a 4 hours or as an 8 hours opportunity. So I'll be waiting here to see if the market will present for me a bullish candle in that buy zone. I wouldn't be looking to enter at the moment because we still have quite a strong sell-off. And if I'm looking at a weekly binary, there's a good couple of days to go. I do want to be patient and get the better entry. So I'll be waiting for the market to actually present me with a bullish candle in the buy zone, and then I would look for a weekly binary opportunity, and I could even look to take it into that previous high. So it's a couple of options that I've got here on Euro GBP. The next one that I want to take a look at is the pound. So we've versus the US. We've seen some really nice sell-off of the pound in reaction to the election. However, regardless of the fundamental news that came and pushed the pound, if we'll take a look here on the monthly chart, we can see that we've been in a very, very strong downtrend for the better part of 2 years already. And what we had a pullback into the sell zone, indecision candle in the sell zone, break below it, signal that we could see a continuation of this longer term downtrend. So we already have an established and beautiful downtrend on the monthly. The weekly is not really helping us because what we've got as the monthly pulling back, the lower time frame will change direction, and that's what we've got here. We've got an uptrend. But what we can also see is we're sitting below a level. So if we'll mark that area, we can see that area around the 1.28. Let's just get a little bit more precise here. It's quite a nice level on this market, and we see that we broke below it and we're pulling back to test it from below. And this is a sort of opportunity that I'm after. We've got a beautiful downtrend already established on the daily, and we had strong sell-off, and now we're pulling back. We're pulling back to test this level from below. So in this case of the pound, we're already making that pullback, and what I'm looking for is the test of that level, and then I'll be looking to take this market short. So let's take a look at lower time frame. You can see that lower time frame, we found some support at this 126.50, and we're starting to push higher. It could be from an 8 hours, it could be from a daily, but I really like this on the higher time frame because we need that pullback. We need to release that selling pressure. Currently, as you can see, we still have nice bullish candle, which means that the pullback is not over, and we might see a further run higher on this price action. So in this case, my favorite time frame is the daily. I'll be waiting for it could be another day or 2 days, even a pullback into that area, into that 128 level, and then I'm looking for a bearish candle rejecting that level. And that is quite important because I could look at a trade as a reaction to that level. We can't really talk about what sort of trade I would be at the moment because we don't have that setup. But a lot of the time when we get to a level, the market reacts to it, and we can look at shorter term binaries to take that place. But if I'm looking at a higher time frame, I'll be waiting for the market to present me with a bearish candle rejecting that level, and then I'll look to take it to the downside. So in this case, I would be looking more on a weekly time frame. So if we'll come back into the platform, then in this case, I'll be looking here. Because I'm looking at a daily opportunity, I'll be looking at the longer expiry, so expiry at the end of the week. I'll be looking at when we reach that 128, I'll be looking at anything between that 127 and all the way down to 126.5, which we've seen is a good support on that market. And it all depends depends on also how long I've got until the expiry and how strongly the market reacts to that 128. I will wait for a reaction because I don't want to see, and if we'll come back here to the chart, I don't want to see that it's actually breaking through that level and this was a failed break, because that would mean that the market will have a potential another test at this 1.3 level. So this is the pound crosses. The next market that I absolutely love is dollar CAD, and we had a very strong sell-off on this one. So we were sort of on the monthly, we were in an uptrend and we started here a new uptrend. So we are grinding higher, we are still in an uptrend, but we're not looking much bullish, because we made quite a slight higher high, but we're already coming down pretty close into this higher low. And you can see it's quite strong divergence is coming in here on the indicators. There's some significant levels as well on this market. So looking here on the weekly, we can see that we broke the uptrend, but we don't have a confirmation yet of a downtrend. On the daily, very much in a downtrend and quite a strong sell-off. We can see though, we came into this level around this 132 area, quite a strong level on this market. So I'm looking on the higher time frame, I'm looking for a pullback. So this is quite similar to what we've seen on Euro GBP. I want to see a pullback for a short trading opportunity. We had a strong sell-off, need to release some of that selling pressure. So let's go down the time frame and see maybe there could be some trading opportunity as this market starts to pull back. Excuse me, I need a bit of water. All right. So what we've got here at the moment, and we've got a couple of hours until this market is going to close, about 3.5 hours, but, or not the market, this candle is going to close. But so far what we've got here is a bullish candle. So I've got here the 132 level, I've got a bullish rejection candle off that level. So and I've got a massive overextension. So this is three technical ingredients that could point out that a pullback is on the cards. What I would like to see to confirm it is a break above the high of this, hopefully end up printing like this bullish rejection candle. So let's get down the time frame, and you can see that the 4 hours is the same. It's the same story. There is strong convergence, so this market is still very strong to the downside. But as with every move in the market, we don't just move in one straight lines. We have to have those pullbacks, right? We always see a little bit of a pullback before the next leg of that race. So if I could time my pullback, I could look for a shorter time frame binary. So instead of just looking for wait for that big pullback to happen, because we already had a strong sell-off, maybe I can take it in the other direction. So looking here, a dollar CAD on 120, we're not as overextended, but we're starting to show some bullishness coming into this market. So let's go down the time frame. So on the 1 hour, we are making lower lows and we're flattening out on the indicators. On the 30 minutes, we can see that we are starting actually to push higher on the momentum indicator. So we might start to see a deeper pullback. Looking here on the 15, we haven't changed direction yet, but we could start to see an uptrend coming in on this time frame. Let's see if we go down even some more. So we can see on the very small time frame, we actually started here a new bullish move. There's no real uptrend on the 5 minutes here, need a pullback and another higher high, but we're starting to see that reaction. If I can get an uptrend on the 15 minutes, which could correlate quite nicely with that bullish candle rejecting 132 on the 4 hours and on the 8 hours, I'll be looking for trading opportunity just to see that snap back into the averages on the mid time frame. So I'm looking here, we're sitting at around 132.40 area, and if I go into the mid time frame, and if I'll be quite conservative, we could see the market pulling back somewhere near the 133. We can actually even see a pullback into 134 134, which is another very strong level on this market. But let's just look at the options that we've got around the 132.40 and above. So let's go back into the platform and have a look at dollar CAD. I might just close this and let's take a look at dollar CAD. So on dollar CAD, let's see what we've got. So we've got here options that could close within less than 35 minutes. So if I'm thinking that I'm going to get the snapback right now, then I could look to take it, even this one, we've been on 132.40. There is this one, 132.44. So let's have a look at this option. So let's wait for the information to come through. All right, so we can see the market sits right now on 32.399 and we're looking at 32.44. So we're going to be out of the money, which is why we've got such a nice reward to risk. Again, if you're not quite sure what is the reward to risk on this one, you can always populate the information and take a look at the information that comes through as maximum profit and maximum loss when this is a time of expiry. So because we don't have a lot of time to go and we haven't yet confirmed that this move is in through the pullback, we can actually look at this one. And if we come back into the charts on the lower time frame, because this is where it's quite interesting, we can see that the 15 had quite a strong push. We might see a pullback and we need to see another move higher. Looking here on the 5 minutes, they are actually pulling back. So would I be able in about 30 minutes to have a pullback and another move to sit above that area? That could happen, although that's quite squeezed in time, but that's a possibility. The next possibility that we can look at is the next one lower, so looking at 34. Now in this case, because we are in the money, it's going to cost us a lot more to get into that trade, so we're actually going to pay about 80 to make about $20. So that's one downside about this option. It's that the reward to risk is not going to be much in our favor. Now, the other thing that we can look at the next time limit. So at this moment, because there's a little bit of a pullback that I'm expecting and then a bit of a move, I might find that this gives me a better chance of having that at least the start of that pullback. And look, we could have a situation even when we've got these overextensions. So let's go back into this time frame, and at some point we will see a pullback. The question is to time it, to say yes, the pullback is going to move from here onward, and not just spend a couple of candles here going sideways and then move higher, because right now I'm looking for a move. I'm looking for that pullback. So looking at the options that I've got for the 1.5 hours, if we look at this one, for example, this is sitting in and around where we are right now, and you can identify that by the fact that we're sitting around the 50. So we're looking at a 1-to-1 approximately reward to risk. So this one is talking about 37, and this is very much where we're sitting right now. So slightly in the money at the moment, and it reflects in the price. It's approximately a 1-to-1. But I'm really thinking I might have a chance of getting this market pushing higher. So I can look at the next option up. So let's take a look at 47. Now in this case, I can look at about 2.5-to-1 reward to risk, because I've got enough time to go. And I don't need a big move, so I'm not looking at, let's say, a 1.5 hour to get into that 133. I'm actually looking for just a bit of a movement in the bullish direction, so just a bit of a pullback that starts to happen right now. We already have some information to say that there is the beginning of it. There's no confirmation from the lower time frame, so it might be a little bit on the sooner part, but we could wait for a a pullback on the 5 minutes and then a break above the previous highs to confirm an uptrend on that case, and then look for the next close or the next binary option. So these are the things that when we have some very strong sell-offs in the market, there's two options that are available to us, because the one thing that I don't want to do, I don't want to chase the market. If we already had that really big move, I don't want to be coming and trying to sell dollar CAD at the moment where it's already had a very strong move. It already pushed quite sharply lower, and there is a level of support and resistance in my way. So whatever I choose, and yes, this market looking very weak, but we do know the market tends to react to those levels. Of course, it can smash through them quite easily as well, but there are reactions to level, and we're looking at high probability scenarios. We can't predict 100% what's going to happen, but we're looking for high probability, so it's kind of stacking the odds in our favor and add a layer on top of layer on top of layer of technical ingredients. So having that level, that 132, having that massive overextension, and having already the lower time frame starting to change direction, or beginning of a change of direction, and so far a bullish rejection candle on the mid time frame, that is a lot of ingredient to say there's a higher likelihood of a pullback on the card, or at least a bit of a sideways. So would I sell this market at the moment? I probably won't, because it's already had a big move. So I'm looking at other things that I can do given that we already had a big move. One thing is I could look to trade the pullback, and the second thing, and then I would look for short-term opportunities, so binaries that are closing within a couple of hours, or I can say I'd like the higher time frame opportunity in the direction of the trend, which by then I'll be a bit more patient. I'll wait for a pullback into the sell zone, and then I look for signs that this pullback is over, and look to take this market in the direction of that overall trend. So I'm happy to answer any questions now. This is the end of the session of the live market analysis, and we are happy to get some questions from you guys. So any questions that you've got, feel free to type them in the question box.